Do you want to know the best strategies for boss fight, including how to beat Insane 4? Because that's what I'm going to tell you. Let's get into it. Alright, now Boss Fight just came out. It was actually released early, and it's going to be available for 5 days, which is really awesome for a ticketed event. Usually ticketed events only last 2 days, so we have a lot of time to perfect and master Boss Fight. Now, there's a lot of different levels. It starts out at normal, then it goes to hard, and then expert, and then master, and then insane. And actually, there's 16 insane levels. Yes, I was able to beat Insane 4, and I could not get further than that. I wanted to get a video out for you guys. I think I can beat Insane 5, but after that, I'm really not sure. So I want to tell you guys the best tips and tricks for boss fight, how to beat all the way up to Insane 4, and how to beat Insane 5. I can tell you that too. Even though I wasn't able to get it for the video, I still think I know how to do it. So first, let's go over some general strategies and things you need to know for boss fight. Then I'll go over the best brawlers and the more free-to-play friendly ones, and exactly how to play those brawlers in order to complete all those different challenges. Now, one thing to know is starting out at the normal level, the Robo Boss starts out with 250,000 health, and his health increases by 50,000 all the way up to the master level. At the master level, he has 400,000 health, and then every wave or every challenge after that, his health increases by 100,000 health. So once you get to Insane, it's 500,000, Insane 2, 600,000, and so on and so on. So you can see it just starts getting way, way, way harder. Another thing to know is after a certain time period, the boss gets to a different state. At 1 minute and 35 seconds, the boss becomes angry, and he gets a different color. He gets like dark purple, and his damage increases, and his movement speed increases, and his attack projectile speed increases as well. And then he gets to furious at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, his damage increases, his move speed increases, everything increases slightly. His health doesn't change. And then finally, his last state, or at least the last that I saw, is he becomes enraged at 5 minutes. And again, everything increases. As well, his normal attack, he has a melee attack, and he has another attack that fires out shots, and they go in a moving pattern, sort of like Bo's attack. They just go in like a sprinkler motion. And as you get to different states, he starts firing more of those shots, and they start going faster, and of course they do more damage. Once you get to enraged, it's like insane, and you get hit by it, and you pretty much die almost every single time, unless you're a tank, and then maybe you die after 2 of those, but it's still crazy, crazy strong. He also has 2 other attributes that are really important to know, and they don't start right away. Now, you can get all of those states of the boss no matter what challenge level you are, as long as you just get to that time mark. Once you get to that time, the boss changes state, and on top of that, once the boss changes state, all of the robots change state as well. So all of the robots become a different color, they also get more health, and they deal more damage. They do not become faster though. So at angry they change, and at furious they change, and at range all the robots change. On top of that, once you get to the expert level, the Robo Boss will start charging at you. He will do like a bull charge, and he'll break through walls, and he'll charge at you. Also, one really important thing to know is if you're curious when the Robo Boss is going to either charge at you or fire a bunch of those shots, those sprinkler pattern shots at you, you can tell because he starts flashing these red exclamation points start coming out of the boss. And that's when you can know he's gonna do one of those 2 things. Now, typically, if you are behind a wall, he's going to charge at you. If you are out in the open, he has a clear shot at you, he's not often going to charge, but I will also say he tends to switch it up. He's probably not gonna do 2 in a row of something, so then he'll switch whatever he's doing. That's another really good way to know. Now, it's actually sort of easy to dodge. Those sprinkler pattern shots do not break walls until the boss becomes furious. So you can easily use walls or any object to hide behind and not take any damage from any of those sprinkler pattern shots. But as soon as he becomes furious, all those shots start breaking down walls, which is partly where it starts to become so hard to deal with them because you cannot dodge them. At least you can't dodge that many of them. Another thing to know is at the Master Challenge, he starts firing rockets out, and those rockets deal a lot of damage, do about 2,000 damage. You can see them coming. There's a big red circle where they're coming. You have time to avoid them. If you are a normal move speed brawler, it will be hard to consistently avoid them, especially if there are walls in the way. You will experience knockback once you get hit, and the ground becomes set on fire for a couple seconds. It deals 500 damage a second if you stand in the fire. Now, if you're not a normal move speed brawler like a tank or Mortis Crow or Leon, then you can dodge those fairly consistently for the most part, unless there's a wall in the way or there's robots in the way, and then you might end up hitting that and taking damage. And lastly, as you get to the insane level and you keep increasing in challenge, those exploding rockets start firing more and more frequently, and eventually it gets to the point where it's almost constant. There's always one in the air, always one launching, which can get really crazy. Okay, now for the best brawlers and brawlers to use. Now, I mean, you're seeing the best brawlers right now, and this is going to be the best team comp honestly by far. Bull, Colt, and Leon are definitely the best brawlers, and I cannot see any way that any other brawlers are going to be better than this unless you're using a different strategy, or maybe you don't have one of those brawlers max, and you need a Leon, like seriously, and a max Leon too, if you really want to beat like Insane 3, Insane 4. It's so needed, because as you probably might be seeing now, once you get to where there's no teammates alive, of course teammates take 17 seconds to respawn if you haven't noticed, you need that Leon to just escape and run around. He's got that really fast move speed, and of course he can go invisible so he can run away from all the robots and just buy time and allow his teammates to respawn. That's so important, so critical, especially as you get past 5 minutes and then everyone is dying constantly, like your teammates are dying within 5 to 10 seconds, and you honestly do not have much chance. Now, before I exactly go over how you play each role really well, let's talk about alternatives. If you don't have Leon, I would really pick El Primo, another tank. He can deal a lot of damage in melee close situations. He's got a faster move speed and a ton of health, and a super that allows him to escape. So El Primo is going to be their next best bet. You Crow and Mortis, who do have a fast move speed, do not do enough damage. They do not have enough survivability. It's going to take you too long, and you will not kill the boss in time. Another really good option is going to be Pam. Pam is going to be the basically 5th best of these options. She's definitely really good, and especially for the early challenge waves when you don't have to have a ton of different challenges in your way. Pam is a really good option. It can keep your team alive, doesn't have the faster move speed, but does have a ton of health, can deal decent damage. So Pam is still a good option, but she's definitely not going to be one of the better ones, especially as you're getting really far later on. Like once the robot boss becomes enraged, Pam's healing is honestly useless. Everyone dies so fast, and you never get to use your healing turret. So Pam is a really good option for anything before the boss gets enraged. And honestly, even once the boss is furious, Pam is not quite as useful, but still a decent option. So Pam is going to be really good for the earlier challenge waves, and once you get to the insane and master level, Pam's going to start becoming not quite as good. Okay, now exactly how to play each of these brawlers. Leon is going to be the most important brawler here, and Leon wants to pick up every single power-up. If you don't have Leon, whoever it is, pick either the Bull or the El Primo and have one of them pick every single power-up. And this is really important because you need one person who never dies. You need one person who gets as strong as possible, and in this case, you really want it to be Leon, because you need Leon to just be able to be as survivable as possible. He needs as much health as possible, as much damage as possible, so he can kill any robots in his way, and he needs all those power-ups. You want one person to collect them. If you're having various people pick them up and then they're dying, you're not going to have that one person who gets insanely strong, and you really need that as you get later on in the bosses. Another thing is Leon cannot die. If Leon dies, you are probably going to lose fairly soon, or you're not going to make it very far either way, unless it's an earlier challenge wave. If Leon dies in the first minute, that might be fine. You can overcome that. He can respawn and he can still get enough power-ups. But if he dies much later than that, he won't have enough power-ups, and he won't be strong enough to be able to survive and kill enough robots and just be able to escape from different situations. Oh, and one tip I'd give as far as dealing with the robots that keep spawning in, honestly, I would ignore all of them except for the shooter robots. You want to kill those because those can attack you from so many different places at any time, and they can be really hard to dodge. But the other ones, I would just ignore and deal with them as they come in your way. As they're in your way, then go ahead and kill them. If not, you really want to focus on that boss, and you need to kill that boss as soon as possible. The key to getting getting really high in the challenges is dealing as much damage as possible before he becomes enraged at 5 minutes. You need to get that boss really low health. Once he becomes enraged, he becomes almost impossible to deal with. He kills you so quickly, and what ends up happening is you don't kill those robots fast enough, and then they just become like meat shields for the boss, and you are not able to take him out. And you're gonna see that with us too, is it's really hard for us to deal enough damage. Also too, the gameplay you're seeing, you saw us beating stage 4, and then after that you're seeing us get as far as possible in Insane 5, but we were not quite able to beat it. Now the Bull, he's just gonna wanna be getting as close as possible. Both of these brawlers, Bull and Colt, you need their star power if you wanna beat really high times. If you want to get as good as possible, you do need their star power. They are important. And for Bull, that star power is so good. Under 40% health, his reload speed doubles. So as a Bull, if you have his star power, you want to be, for the first like 2 minutes, you want to be under 40% health the whole time. You want to be having double reload speed. Of course, you cannot be dying though. So this will take some practice. You need to understand how close you can be without taking any melee damage, and understanding when, okay, he's got the angry flashes, it's time for me to get behind cover or dodge or just run around him, and then you just keep doing damage. So you don't want to be exactly at point blank unless you're at like full health, and then you can go ahead, be at point blank, deal as much damage as possible. Otherwise, you want to be under 40% health. It's going to be under 3,000 health, and you're going to be good. You'll have that faster reload speed, and then you really need that though if you want to do as much damage as possible. The other important thing with Bull is his super, and this is one of the reasons he's really good, is there are going to be situations where once you get past 5 minutes, you need Bull to tank for the robot. Actually, let me take this time and talk about once you get past 5 minutes, once you get past 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and the Leon is having a really tough time. You need whoever spawns to tank for the robot. Allow the Leon time to build up his super and heal up. You need them to allow the Leon to survive. You got to get in the way of the boss. You got to take the boss's attention and put it towards yourself. And that's really important with whoever spawns, with the Colt, with the Bull, with the Primo, whoever it is. You need them to tank for that robo boss. That's so important. And especially that's one time where your super is going to be really good. It's going to allow you to buy a little bit more time and take the boss on a further journey. Just buy more time, take him a little bit longer on a trip with you, and that's going to be the only time you really use his super. The only other time you might use it is if you died, and it's like you died early on and you're using it to get right back in the action right away. Now Colt, he's going to be your long range damage dealer, and you want to make sure with him that when you use your super, you're always hitting the boss, and especially later on, you want to try and hit the boss and multiple robots, because it's definitely good because he can hit multiple things at once with his super. So you want to get that value, so you're spending as much time as possible just shooting the boss, and you're not spending it shooting those robots who are in your way. And having his star power is important as well, because you need that faster move speed to avoid those exploding rockets and just to escape other robots. Now the key to getting past the insane stages and advancing up every single insane stage is dealing as much damage to the robo boss before it gets to 5 minutes. You need to get him to about 15% or under health left if you want to beat the boss after that. You can't keep on surviving and dealing damage after that, but it's really hard. Pretty much you deal like 1 to 2% at most every time you spawn, and it's just really difficult. A lot of times there's robots in the way. Like if Colt has super, he can deal damage then, but sometimes he doesn't always have super. It can be really difficult, and you're really only getting 1 to 2% damage every time you spawn, and it can still be really hard. And like once you get past 8 minutes, 9 minutes, it's just so hard to keep surviving because there just ends up being too many robots in the way. It's too hard to heal up, and that boss is just crazy strong. And honestly, if you want to beat Insane 5, you basically have to have Bull under 40% health for the majority of the time using his star power, and you honestly can't have anyone die early on. You can't have anyone die probably until you get to a little bit past, till you get to around 3 minutes, because you need to be doing an insane amount of damage, and if you are dead, of course, for 17 seconds, you're dealing no damage. So that is definitely the key. If you want to beat Insane 5, You honestly have to have no one die. You have to have no one die for the first 3 minutes, and you just gotta be doing as much damage as possible. One other thing I will say is one other key to doing this and having no one die is you need Colt and Leon to take care of those shooter robots. Bull under 40% health cannot deal with those shooter robots. So those are a big hindrance to him, and they're gonna stop him from being able to stay under 40% health or maybe cause him to die. So you need to take care of those so Bull can deal as much damage as possible. And honestly, if you're able to have everyone survive for the first like 3 minutes, 3:30, I do think you can beat Insane level 5. After that, I'm not really sure. The health just gets way too crazy, and you probably need a slightly different strategy that's just even more insane. Let me know how far you're getting in boss fight down below in the comments. That's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.